is sweet, but the mind is willing. Setting my feet, lest I be slipping. Wanna be free, wanna be free.
I was up for the task that he handed. Promised he wouldn't regret it. I'm holding it down to the casket. I'm holding it down like a bandit.
I'm African and ain't nobody with my sort of vision.
Everything that kills me makes me feel alive.
Well, it was just a dream, just a moment ago. Cause I was up so high, looking down at the sky. Don't let me fall.
Chosen people hate what the world seeks and seeks what the world avoids. These are beautiful words from Ignatius Loyola.
The importance of a father in being a legacy holder or being able to pass the baton. Now, throughout both movies, it was always emphasized that they were the daughters of Aaron. We don't know really who Aaron was until later on when the twins are getting to know each other in the first movie. When Alex tells Cameron about the history of Coventry, she mentions their father, who was the leader of the forces of light. Aside from that, we really don't know much else about Aaron until towards the end of the first movie, when they find out that the darkness actually has a face and a name. They find out that the darkness is Thanatos, and he is the brother of Aaron, and by default makes him their uncle. And why he became the darkness, he states that he meaning Aaron, had the power, he had Coventry, and he had Miranda. So my theory is everything he did was cultivated from jealousy, and that jealousy led to envy, which created the darkness, and he just grew over time by stealing the souls or shadows of the people within Coventry. I am also going to emphasize my theory from the first video in the Twitch's franchise, explaining how if light is love, then love is bond. And since I've done most of the spiritual breakdown in the first video for the first movie, I won't be doing much of a spiritual esoteric breakdown in this video, only if it comes up. It is also an extension of the spiritual analysis of the first movie. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it down in the description box so you can check it out. These are my intentions for creating this video and connecting them to the teachings or concepts of spirituality and consciousness. So if you're ready, let's begin. In the first movie, the prophecy was referenced here and there throughout the movie. In one of the references, it stated that only the twin daughters can restore the light of Coventry. In my first video analysis, I referred to that part of the sequel. Remember when I told you to hold that thought and how I was going to come back to it? Well, here I am. At the end of the first movie, it is assumed that they defeated the darkness and their evil uncle Thanos. Now, in the beginning of this movie, Alex is summarizing and retelling the first movie. And at the end of her synopsis, she asked the question, or did they? And obviously the answer is no. Aside from the sequel, my theory is that the reason for this sequel is because they only restored half of the light, or 3/4 of the light, should I say, to Coventry, and not the whole light entirely, if you get my drift. Meaning, in order for them to restore the whole light of Coventry is not only what Thanos said in the first movie, referring to total defeat. They also need to bring back the leader of the forces of light, or the legacy holder of the light, who is also known as, yep, you guessed it, Aaron. Now, the movie starts off with Miranda staring out into the distance of the land of Coventry. She walks into Aaron's study and opens a book and glances at it for a moment. She looks up at his portrait and states, "Oh, Aaron, I miss you so much." She closes the book and leaves the study and begins walking down a dark, dimly lit hallway. As she is walking, she hears a voice call out to her. She turns and asks if someone is there. She hears nothing but silence, so she continues walking. She enters the castle and we see a shadow exiting the hallway close behind her. She hears the voice call out to her again, which prompts her to cast the spell and create a faux wall behind her. This scene gives us, the viewers, another ominous feeling, which further helps us understand that there is something still lurking in the shadows. We cut to Cameron in the kitchen drawing at the table. She just so happened to be drawing the same doors we saw moments earlier. In this scene, we learn that Alex is now living with Cameron and her adoptive parents. She tells her mom about how she didn't get any sleep because Alex stayed up looking at college catalogs, and this is just another emphasis on how they are like night and day. We also learned that Cameron has been practicing magic on her own and failing miserably. She also mentions how she gets a vision of how to do magic.
And the rest of the time, I just get a vision or something.
We see her amulet light up and she says, "Alex," indicating that she senses something is wrong as she rushes upstairs. When she gets up to the door of her bedroom, we see a shadow disappear right when Cameron casts a spell in an attempt to save Alex. This causes her pull down bed to close up against the wall with her still on it. Cameron's attempt to save Alex only created an argument between the two of them. In the next scene, they are dressed and back downstairs, and Alex is having breakfast at the table. This scene illustrates how they are treated differently as well, creating more tension in their relationship. And honestly, this isn't intentional. They're just trying to be hospitable to Alex and make her feel more at home with them. Mrs. Barnes puts an end to their momentary sibling rivalry, and she tells them how all of this will seem normal after a while. That's when Ileana and Karsh splash down into a portal in the pool. They've come to relay a message from Miranda requesting their presence back to Coventry. They notice Cameron's drawing and tell them that it's their father's crest. They also tell them that they're getting married and they want the two of them to be in the wedding. Right after that, Alex declines to go back to Coventry since she has to attend college. While in Coventry, Miranda informs Cameron that she needs help to finish securing the kingdom. While Cameron is more concerned with being a princess and getting princessed up. We change scenes back to Alex on campus and runs into Marcus, and then she runs into Beth. He seems to have mistaken her for Cameron. Later on, he runs into her again, and this time he asks her out, and Of course, she declined because she figured out that he was her sister's ex-boyfriend. They go their separate ways. Now we see a shadow come up to him, or like a breeze, if you will, and he abruptly decides to turn back around and walk Alex home. And we see a shadow that is rather long, indicating it's taller than he is. And also it doesn't have curly hair. Now we cut back to Cameron, halfway stuck in the wall. When Karsh and Ileana find her, they kick her out of the wall and they leave her to finish carrying out Miranda's orders of securing the castle. Now Cameron wanders around and finds the entrance to the North Tower. A servant follows her and gets attacked by a shadow. She finds a ring with the same crest on it. We change scenes and she makes her way back to their dimension through the closet and shows Alex the ring. Alex tells her about the stories she's been writing. They decide to go tell Miranda when all of the doors in their bedroom slam shut. Ileana and Karsh appear and tell them that Thanos is back. When they do go back to Coventry, Miranda tells them about sensing darkness lurking around in the shadows, and she tells them that a servant was attacked in the North Tower, confirming his return. She also tells them that they are the only two people that can stop him.
But I'm afraid that once again, you two are the only ones that can stop him. In 2 days, the sun and the moon will be in perfect alignment. A solar eclipse. And both of you will be at your most powerful.
She tells Ileana and Karsh to get them ready to do the spell in 2 days. As they practice the spell in the observatory, Dimitri walks by and Cameron all of a sudden becomes distracted and runs after him. She introduces Alex to Dimitri, and these next two scenes are so awkward. My gosh, I can't bear. They bow before him. He asks to show Cameron around the garden sometime, and that's when Ileana and Karsh come around the corner and pretty much cock blocks, like, Lord, by ordering some food. Alex runs after him to let him know that Cameron likes him anyways and to tell him to keep trying. That's when he asks to borrow some of her magic. Now, she found that to be very odd, and it made her feel as if he was taken over by Thanos, or his shadow was taken over by Thanos. This is when she learns about what her mom did after her father was unalived. Back in their dimension, they awkwardly fight in front of Marcus and Beth. They decide to go to Coventry to look for the spot in the castle that looks like Cameron's drawing. They realize it leads to Aaron's study with Miranda inside. They show her Cameron's drawing and she mentions how she used to draw when she was her age.
Cam drew this.
I used to draw all the time when I was your age.
But don't you think it's kind of strange?
It would be stranger if you hadn't.
Keep this in mind because I'm going to refer back to it later on in this video. Now they ask her to tell them a story about Aaron because she never talks about him. She tells them about him giving her a gift after they first met at a ball. It was a star from the north sky.
It's a real star. Good gift. I never told anyone that story. It was our secret.
Now, back in their dimension, their adoptive parents are waiting for them nervously. Mr. Barnes shows how angry he is, and we get another depiction of how honest Cameron is no matter what. Now, fast forward to a shadow taking over their housekeeper, and she's screaming, "Snickerdoodle! Snickerdoodle! Snickerdoodles!" over and over again while bringing them some milk and cookies. But Unfortunately, Alex is in their dad's study in Coventry, begging for a sign. A star was drawn onto the morning dew on a window, and she runs to tell Miranda. This makes Miranda annoyed, and she tells her that she doesn't want to hear anything else about their father. This is when Alex confronts her mother about how she views her taking everyone's magic as an act of selfishness. She conjures up a portal back to her dimension. Miranda asks Ileana and Karsh to get Cameron to talk to her to make sure she is there for the solar eclipse and to perform the vanquishing spell. Now, in their dimension, Karsh demonstrates his skills of tough love, and Cameron promises to make sure that Alex is there for the solar eclipse. Now, back at Coventry in their dad's study, again and again, Alex pleads for another sign since the eclipse is about to happen. The wind blows and the pages of a spell book fly open to the page of a freedom spell that is similar to the vanquishing spell, except this one has different lines for the end, and that is actually Cameron's line. Karsh and Ileana come and gather them up to position them for the solar eclipse and the vanquishing spell. Now, I want to take this moment to point out the difference in this scene and the one in the previous movie. In the previous movie, when they were converting their love into light to defeat the darkness or Thanos, the corridors of Coventry were dark or not green like they are now. The reason why they are green is because it symbolizes them intentionally opening the veil. They are opening that curtain, like how they did in the Beetlejuice movies. Every time they went to the other side, it was green. Another difference is that they aren't converting love into light. They are summoning the light and commanding it to search through the shadows to vanquish their enemies that hides them. Knowing that nothing in the shadows can hide since they've unleashed the light, Alex runs to the study to beg again for another way to help who she thinks is her father. The wind blows and shows her a transfer spell. She transfers her magic to who we see is actually Thanos.
He won't stop until it searches through the shadows and destroy everything. I want him. He's gotta hide. No, nothing in the shadows can hide now.
Take note that the corridors are still green. This means that the veil will remain open until the light searches through the shadows and vanquishes everything. He opens a portal to go finish off his brother before the light does. Cameron and Alex return to their dimension through their closet. They hear commotions downstairs and they find their adoptive parents disheveled, and Mr. Barnes is capsized over in his little love seat or his little one-seater. They tell them that he tried to steal their shadows, and Mr. Barnes mentions how he put up a good fight. And as they hear the housekeeper scream, they make their way upstairs and see Thanos with Aaron's shadow. He was hiding in her shadow this whole time. When they find Thanos with Aaron, he slams the door shut and Cameron kicks it down, only to realize that they are gone. They make their way upstairs to their closet but realize the portal is locked. So they use Cameron's convertible to get to Coventry. Once they are there, they realize the castle has been locked and you can only open it from the inside. Dimitri opens a door from the kitchen and they realize that Miranda had given everyone in Coventry their powers. He tells them that Thanos took Aaron to the North Tower. Once they make their way up there, Illyana and Karsh step in to handle Thanos. Literally all he had to do was give a small blow and they flew over the ledge and end up hanging onto a gargoyle.
Girls, stop! Let us handle this. All right, have a plan.
Okay, I'll distract him. Okay, coming from the side.
Don't let go! You don't let go!
This scene is just another reminder of how the books are very different from the movies, because in the books, Illyana and Karsh were also depicted as being formidable, but in the movies they are, my God, the complete opposite. Now, I understand that this is a Disney movie and they wanted to make it child friendly and lighthearted or comedic, but either way, it didn't do the books any justice. And I'm sure they got a lot of complaints about it after the release of the first movie. And I say this because in the very beginning of the sequel, you notice that it states that this movie is based on the characters in the books and not the books itself. So yeah, I'll leave my complaint here for now and get back to the movie analysis. Now, Miranda gets to the North Tower to confront Thanos. He casts a spell to send both twins flying in the air, and Miranda casts a spell to catch them. Thanos remembers that Aaron, is still around, and he shifts his focus back onto him. Miranda brings the twins back onto their feet, and she runs to place herself in between Aaron and Thanos. He tells them that it doesn't matter if he destroys him or not. The sunlight will do that for him once it comes from behind the moon, stating that he has nothing left. Alex replies,
Now I know you'll never understand. With us here, he has everything left.
That's when Miranda joins hands with the twins and Aaron, and they transfer their magic to him. This makes Aaron whole again, for a lack of better words, and it also creates light that stuns Thanos. Thanos tries to do a sneak attack while they hug, and Aaron casts a spell out of a reflex. It sends Thanos down the hole as the sun comes out from behind the moon, vanquishing him for good. Now, the movie ends with Illyana and Karsh's wedding being officiated by Miranda and Aaron. In conclusion, I first want to say how I love how they emphasized the importance of a father within a family dynamic, and how that dynamic is not complete without one. He is the leader of the forces of light after all, so it would make sense to find a way to bring him back. And how that represents a restoration of the whole light, if you get my drift. I would also like to point out the symbolism that is hinted at but not emphasized in the movie. In the breakdown of the first movie, I mentioned how each twin represents the sun or the moon. Well, in this movie, each twin represented or mirrored a certain parent. Before the twins were born, Miranda represented the sun and Aaron represented the moon. And in the first video analysis, I stated how the sun is feminine, the moon is masculine. The symbol of Coventry represented their union. Cameron mirrored Miranda because they both represent the sun and they both were the ones who could draw. Alex represented Aaron because they both represented the moon and they both were the writers in the family. As I stated before, their parents' union represented the symbol of Coventry, and Alex and Cameron represented the result of that union, also symbolizing the symbol of Coventry. Hence why they are stronger during a solar eclipse or just simply being together. Their story ends with us assuming they get to live the best of both worlds, or dimensions, should I say. And lastly, what Aaron said after the total defeat of Thanos is the whole reason why I came up with the whole light is love and love is bond equation.
You were right. This kind of bond is something you could never understand.
I think that would have been a good place to end the movie, but of course they had to add the ending of Ileana and Karsh's story, as well as their friend and ex and or new love interest for Cameron and Alex. Now, aside from the drama with the writers of the book series and Disney, I did enjoy the movies, especially since I could relate to it, you know, being a twin and all. This is where I will leave it for now, so let me know what you think in the comment section down below. All of my shameless plugs will be in the description box down below. I will catch you all in the next one, but until then, put a shield on it and peace and love. Bye everyone.